Indian Polity by Lakshmikant, which is one of the basic book in preparation of Indian Civil Service examination. Today let's discuss another important component in it. Powers of the President. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar noted presidential powers as: he occupies the same position as the king under the English constitution. He is head of the state but not of the executive. He represents the nation but doesn't rule the nation. And his place in the administration is that of a ceremonial device on a seal by which the nation decisions are made known. And let's come to powers of the president. He has executive, legislative and judicial powers. In India, executive, legislative, judiciary have strong walls between them, and one body doesn't involve in the functions of other body. But president is the only constitutional power who can take part in all three bases of the democracy. And let's come into executive powers. All executive actions of the government are taken in his name, and he appoints executive heads such as Prime Minister and Council of Ministers of India. He can take any information about administration and legislative proposals from Prime Minister. He can also become voice of Central Minister and advises the Prime Minister to consider Minister's advice. He can declare any area in India as a scheduled area and can handle majority of powers in that territory. He can make the rules specifying the manner in which the orders and other instruments made and executed in his name shall be authenticated. He can appoint a council to maintain the cooperation between central state and interstate government. He appoints the heads of highest offices in India, such as Attorney General of India, Chairman and members of u.p.s.c, Comptroller and Auditor General, Election Commissioner, Chairman and members of Finance Commission. Here, Attorney General of India doesn't have any specific period of office. He can be removed and appointed at any point of time by the President of India. He can overview the conditions of SCs, STs and other backward classes in India by appointing a committee on it. And let's come to legislative powers of the President. He plays a key role in starting and dissolving Lok Sabha and also plays a main role in joint sittings of both houses of the parliament. And there is a rule in the constitution such as only president can speak first in the parliament after every general elections. He can overview the parliament and send requests to that when a bill is pending for a long period of time. President can remove any MP at any point of time with the help of election commission when an MP moves against the constitution of India. And the parliamentarian should take his permission before introducing the bill related to consolidated fund. When a bill is approved by two houses of the parliament, then president can give his assent on the bill, withhold his assent on the bill and return the bill for reconsideration. However, if the bill is passed again by the parliament, he must sign on the bill, and he contains similar powers on the bill passed by the state government too. But in the case of reconsideration, he can send the bill back to the state government n number of times. Top officials of India, such as Attorney General to Head of Finance Commission, should submit their final report to President. He can regulate and control union territories such as Lakshadweep, Pondicherry and etc. when the assembly is suspended or dissolved in these places. He can make ordinance when parliament is not in sessions, and he can also withdraw that at any point of time. Financial powers of President of India. Even though he gets salary of 5 lakhs per month, where a software employee easily overtake him, but his signature have the capacity to influence over $3 trillion economy. And only by his order, India can make any grant to any other nation. And the presidential approval is mandatory for the use of contingency fund of India. And he regularly constitutes the Finance Commission after every 5 years to investigate on distribution of revenue between the central and state. And his recommendation is needed when introducing money bill in parliament. His causes to be laid before the parliament introduce union budget to the public. Judicial powers of the president. He appoints the Chief Justice of India and judges of Supreme Court and High Court. In some legal issues, Supreme Court acts as advisory body to president. However, he may or may not use it. Even he can influence the punishments given by one of the most powerful court of the world, such as he can postpone, reduce and cancel punishment given by Supreme Court in all cases where the punishment is by court material or an offence against the union law and by a death penalty. And let's come to diplomatic powers of President of India. The international treaties and agreements are negotiated and concluded on behalf of the President. However, Parliament should approve it. He represents India in international forums and sends and receives diplomats like ambassadors and high commissioners. Military powers of President. He is the supreme commander of 4th largest defense force. He will appoint the chiefs of army, navy and air force, and he declares the war and conclude the peace with any country. Emergency powers of President. In addition to the normal powers mentioned above, the Constitution confirms extraordinary powers to the President. They are national emergency, presidential rule, and financial emergency. And this national emergency is imposed when India is facing trouble from internal and external forces, mostly by different political ideologies. Until now, national emergency imposed twice in India, and the presidential rule is imposed on the state when the state government goes against the Constitution of India. Financial emergency was implemented when there is a financial crisis in India. Till now, financial emergency is not implemented. At this time, all the salaries of government officials, including the salary of Chief Justice of India, are reduced. And this deduction depends upon criticality of the emergency. Like, share, and subscribe.